Hey everyone, I'm Tom and welcome to the channel. Today I am joined by a very, very special guest, my fiance, and we are here to give you our spoiler-filled thoughts about Onyx Storm, book 3 of the Empyrean cycle. And we don't have the real book, so you get one of my very lovely covers. So you want to go ahead and just start. We'll do non-spoilers, some non-spoiler stuff first. You want to go first? You can give where it ranks, what your just, big picture overall thoughts are.
Big picture overall thoughts. I truly didn't think this much could get cringier. And then I listened to the graphic audio version of this book, which I think was a little bit of a mistake and might have swayed my enjoyment slightly. Overall, I landed at 2.5 stars. It's been my least favorite of the series so far. I think Fourth Wing is still first, then Iron Flame, and then Onyx Storm for me. So just kind of in that release order.
I should have checked. I didn't actually check what my official rankings are, but I do know that this is my favorite, which maybe is a little bit of a hot take. I did not listen to the graphic audio. I just listened to the normal audio, but I don't know. This one just, they all have a little bit of a slogginess to them for me. These aren't like really, 100% up my alley. I don't think if we weren't reading it together, I would have continued on or probably even read Fourth Wing. But to me, this one just offered a lot of things that the previous books didn't. And so it definitely, especially by the end of the book, I was like, this is definitely my favorite, which is funny. I know we have both kind of heard that this was the worst one, or I think a lot of it has to do with like how it ends, which is a huge cliffhanger. But for me, I don't know. To say I'm excited for the next book is like an overstatement, but like I'm not dreading what's to come. Do you think that's like fair? You gave it two and a half, so.
I don't think I'm dreading what's to come. And I did still, on a popcorn enjoyment scale, I still enjoyed the book. There were things in this book that are not necessarily for me as a reader, namely the journeying. I hate when characters are just going from one point to the other to the next. And I know that your favorite series, that's all they do.
That's not true.
So I had a tough time with that. So the first 75% of this book was a little rough for me to get through. But I think also one thing that I've really enjoyed about the series as a whole is it feels so consumable. Like you can't stop. It is just, you want to know what happens at the end of each chapter and moving into the next and into the next. And I think part of that is because of the narrator of the audiobook.
I disagree. And when I got to the end of the chapter, I was like, good, I can stop for now. I never, because you've said that a couple times. And I will say like the end of these books definitely have that Sanderlanche kind of aspect to them where like stuff really starts to get going. And then the cliffhangers at the end of especially the last two books have been like, pretty crazy. But like the entire book, I don't know. I never really feel that until like the very end.
Interesting. Yeah. I have felt that way about the first two, and I did not get that at all. So the pacing was really tough for me in this one. And I think that's partly because of how I consumed it. I think the graphic audio really lent to that. I think the graphic audio will work incredibly well for some people. I just think it's not for me. So I think I'm going to ditch that the next book we read, whenever that happens to be.
Yeah. Do you think the pacing is worse in this book or Iron Flame? Because to me, Iron Flame is a whole book with like a weird appendage attached to it at the end. And to me, that makes the pacing worse than just kind of this, like whatever this steady state was for Onyx Storm.
If I look at Iron Flame as two books.
But it's not.
Correct. But if you separate it into part 1 and part 2, the pace of part 1 is great for part 1. The pace of part 2 is great for part 2.
Yeah, but
it does kind of hit a weird merge right there in the middle. But because I was so in it with each part as I moved into the next, I was fine with that pacing. Okay. This one just felt like I was just, clawing to get through it until about 75% of the way through when we hit really all of that falling action at the end. And then I didn't want to put it down.
Okay. No, I can see that. I think that just comes down to the structure of it maybe working a little bit more for me. So I think before we accidentally spoil something in this non-spoiler section, I'm going to say from here on out, spoilers abound. We're really going to start to get into some of the nitty gritty. We have our predictions from the last one, and then we'll touch on a bunch of stuff as we go through. We'll talk about everything we can think of. So this is your last warning. I rambled for enough time for you to get this out of your pocket and turn it off. So you want to start with the predictions?
Sure.
Okay.
So one of our pretty large predictions from the last video, from Iron Flame moving into Onyx Storm, is that we were going to get something from Xaden's family.
Mhm.
There were a lot of Easter eggs in Iron Flame about his mom and him being an only child.
Looking back at it, the mom stuff is even more dramatic.
Yeah.
With what like obviously, you know, when he meets his mom.
Spoiler: he meets his mom in Onyx
We're in
Storm.
the spoiler section. We don't have to. It's fair game. When he meets his mom, is it funny that I was like, kind of still shocked that it happened the way it happened, because it was kind of nonchalant. It was kind of just like they show up to that island and she's like, "I'm here."
I was cheering in the bathroom that we got it right, and
Oh,
I was trying to be so quiet because I knew you weren't there yet.
Yeah, she finished this ahead of me, so like she had to wait for this. She had to wait for me to just be able to talk about it the whole time, which is funny because I've been ahead on the last two. But like, did I text you his mom, or did I text you something else? Was it a different moment?
You texted me for a couple things, but I
Okay.
think you also texted me for his mom.
Yeah. So like and like I said, looking back, man, those hints are like a sledgehammer to the door with how it
Yes.
happened in this book. It's one of those things where if this were a different kind of series, maybe that's what I was expecting. Like a different series would make you wait a book or two for that to happen. And in this series, which I think to its credit, it's a little bit more fast paced with some of those plot movements where it's like, why, like, let's get the mom in there. And that sets up things for future books. But there are a lot of series, and to be fair, I think they end up being longer. I think this is supposed to be 5 books. That that they're 10 books long, and so they drop a nugget like that in book 4, and then in book 6 it comes back around. And I think to the credit of this series, next book, like when those clues are dropped, like they're coming quick, and maybe so like we knew stuff was going to happen with his family, or that was our prediction. So that's good for us.
That's a good one. I will say the next one we also got right is we talked a lot about the wards and would the government let other people in to protect them. I think it was more of question marks. I don't really know that we knew one way or the other. But yes, the government does let more people in. Specifically, people with poor meal are coming in to make sure that they're safe. And then the Oryxian wards do get 100% raised.
Mhm.
So they were weak wards. But we find the 7th breed, the Irids, in this book.
Yeah.
And one of them does come and help raise those wards in Orisha.
Were you surprised we got it in this book? Because by the time they leave all the islands, or before they get them, I thought we were going to island hop and they were going to leave and not find them until maybe the extreme, like, final pages, kind of like as the cliffhanger for this book. So when they showed up on the island right before they're like kind of giving up hope, I was kind of surprised.
I'm a little bit surprised on how they were given to us in this book.
Yes.
Like, I feel like it was kind of a nothing burger, which feels wrong for this pivotal thing in this world, and something that the world's been missing out on.
Mm-hmm.
And I just felt like, oh, here they are, and now they're gone. But I feel like I thought that we would either get the 7th breed or the cure. I didn't think we'd get both.
Yeah.
And so looking back, I'm not that shocked, but I am incredibly shocked on how it was just kind of like, oh, by the way.
We didn't find them. They actually found us. This is really what it is.
Yeah, and they just kind of showed up very anticlimactically.
Yeah, which, I mean, I don't know. It worked. It was fine. It's especially because, like, they have this whole camouflage thing going on. They very much are the, we're way smarter than everybody else kind of trope of, like, we don't want to be seen. We don't want to know. We left for a reason. Basically, we're better than you because you're barbarians. It's basically like kind of the angle they're taking, which I do find to be a little bit interesting. And it's so funny to just like look at nature versus nurture with Andarna, and it's like she's been raised by the dragons. Like she even brings it up. It's like she's set up to fail. Like she's being brought up by what they left. Of course, is she just supposed to be a baby? And I don't know, is there some weird dragon dream thing that I'm missing out, that she's supposed to like have memories of stuff? Or I don't think so, right?
Not really. I think that the whole point is that they left Andarna behind as an experiment to see if she could grow up and not be used as a weapon and overcome like that human attachment and all of this stuff. But I'm with you. She's being raised by dragons of the Vale who are used to having humans as riders and being used in battle and all of these different things.
Yeah.
So it's a little strange for the Irids to just like come in and be like, you should be a pacifist and you should blah, 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 because she's not known any different. And then to place all the blame on Violet as if Violet has done something wrong is wild.
Yeah, and I think we'll probably get a lot more of the like that dragon group's politics in the next book. Just
I agree.
we need something to try to figure out as we move forward into the series because pretty clearly there's kind of a divide anyway, where like the one dragon's like, yeah, that was kind of dumb for us to do,
Right.
and so like there's already kind of the cracks in like whatever they were trying to figure out, which is probably a good thing. And I'm sure maybe there'll be like a schism where half of them come, half of them don't, and then in the last book everybody comes together and holds hands and sings kumbaya or whatever.
Something.
Yeah.
The dragon politics are one of the more interesting things about the book, so I do hope we get a little bit more.
Even the dragons were with the Imperium, right? We don't really know what's going on there either. So like we could get like a lot of world building from the dragon perspective of like what they have going on and like what their rules are. I could see it going either way because like it's almost kind of fun that it's like mystified a little bit, and the dragons are these big, larger than life things. They don't like bow to humans and all that stuff. So I could also see us just like never really getting anything from it. At least from that one, I feel like we're gonna get a little bit more from the Seventh Breed, just because it kind of seems like what it's being set up for. But and then what was our other?
Our last
prediction?
Two were talking about the cure, and then there was a throw out of potentially that Xaden would run away, and then Violet and Dane might get back together. That did not happen. I'm kind of glad it didn't. Dane
Whose prediction was that? Yours or mine?
Yours.
Wow, I'm an idiot.
Dane is working his way back into good graces for sure. He is doing some good work. He's not quite as dumb as he was in that first book for sure, but I don't see there's any chance that they get back together. And we're
no.
We're
Definitely
getting a cure
after this book.
We're getting a cure before the end. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. There's no way the series ends without one.
Did we think a cure was going to happen in this? Oh, we said either the dragons or the cure.
I'm not necessarily sure that we said when. We just predicted there'd be a cure.
Okay,
I don't think we thought it would happen necessarily in Onyx Storm.
Yeah, I feel like, through the power of love and friendship, they're going to find the cure that everybody says there isn't a cure to, because that's like the one thing we get from the Irids, right? They're like, there's no cure for what he's done.
Venom,
like, you know, like that's the end of the road. But like, yeah, through the power of love and friendship, they're going to do some crazy magic, and that'll fix everything. Because that would just fit in with what's going on. Or I guess it could go like a Romeo Juliet route where like neither of them make it, or spoiler for a 600-year-old play.
I don't know. Part of me, with all of the hints being dropped about Violet being special in some kind of way, I am wondering if she is going to have some kind of power that we don't know about.
Because that's a whole other thing that'll probably be explored a lot in book 4. Book 4 is probably a lot of like, this is what's going on with her, this is what's going on with the dragons, a lot of learning. Then book 5 is kind of like the climactic battle book, maybe. Just a thought. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about some of the characters. Who do you want to start with? Because I know what I have some things to say about something in particular, but you can go.
I will start with our two main characters,
okay.
Violet and Xaden. I think I've ragged on Violet a lot in our conversations, and I really didn't enjoy her the first two. She was probably my favorite part about this book, by far. I think putting her in a leadership role, in a role where she has to take the lead, be in control, really has aged her up a little bit. There are still moments where she does annoying Violet things, and her relationship with Xaden is still tough for me. But I think that she's changed a lot in this book for the positive.
No, I agree. She definitely wasn't as grating in this book. I will say, I think the thing that made her, or maybe, I don't even know if it's better, but more tolerable, is there wasn't the will they, won't they kind of thing, which I think bothers me so much from the previous two books, because it's like, let's just pick a side. And it really did feel like in this book, like even though there was a little bit of like maybe holding back because of what's going on with Xaden, it was still very much a like, no, we are in this together, which I think I can appreciate a lot more than this, no, I'm this horrible person, I can't have any happiness, like that, the shadow daddy kind of like trope of like, I'm so bad, I can't have anything good, gets really tiresome. And so the fact that this book is just like, we have this big issue, but like them being together, I think made Violet better. And I think her having like, not even just agency, because she always kind of had a little bit of that, of like, she wanted to, but I think her just having the ability to be like, look, you don't really get to tell me what to do. I think this is the right thing to do. I have the backup with the dragons. You really need me for this. Like, I think that gave her just
Yeah.
like it gave her the ability to act, where a lot of in the past it was like she wanted to act but she couldn't, or she was being held back. So
Mhm.
like even though she broke, what she was supposed to do, and when they went on their adventure, it worked. And I think it just made more sense for her character, especially with all of the other things that have been building her up.
Mhm.
I don't know. I found her to be like not insufferable, which I think is a huge step up, because there were times in both of the previous books where I was just like, oh my god, I
Yeah.
just could not.
I just really wanted to stop reading her.
Yeah.
Funny enough, their relationship in this, specifically from Xaden, was tough for me.
Yeah.
And that is that we have gone so completely from the I'm so bad for you, we can't be together, to I'm so obsessed that it's a little obnoxious. And ladies, hear me when I say it's great for your man to be obsessed with you. That's a wonderful thing. But this was like a little too much for me. Like, this was a little bit like, it's only lust. He only is just obsessed with her. And he's a lot of times not thinking about all of the other qualities that make her a really important human being in this world. And so that was a little much for me. But for all my qualms, he went from my favorite character to one of my least favorite characters.
Really? Interesting.
In this book, yes.
Huh.
I think there are ways that Xaden can climb his way back up. But there was a pretty big shift for me between those two.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't really know if I feel that differently about him in this book. I mean, he's still kind of angsty, but angsty in a different way, because it's about, him turning.
Yeah.
He's not so angsty about like his want for Violet. Instead, he's like kind of solidified around that. Maybe, like you said, to an annoying extent. But for some reason, because of what type of book this is, it's way easier for me to like accept that they're just like fake, over the top for each other in a way that's like in the real world is like a disease and like a problem. But like for whatever reason in this supposed to be like romantic book, it works better for me. Especially, like I said, the will they won't they stuff was so much, but like the obsession, I don't know, I guess it just worked a little bit better for me.
That's
instead.
fair.
Yeah, I don't know.
Fair.
Yeah.
That's good. What was your thing that you wanted to say?
I wanted to talk about the side characters,
Mhm.
because to me, I don't know, they just felt like almost non-existent. I know, but I know. To
I
me,
like make up half the plot of this book.
I know, but they just felt like so inconsequential in a way.
They're my favorites. All of them. Every single one are so great.
I mean, well, okay, so it's not that I don't like them. I just like, were they really that important?
I mean, I think that Garrick and Bodhi and Riddick play a big part, and a lot of the Griffin writers through all of the island hopping. You're right that in the very end, at the very beginning and the very end, they don't do a whole lot, but that midsection,
Are they that important?
I think so.
I feel like
And
they're
then
just like going from
and
place
Mira
to
and
place.
Brennan too fall into that, and I guess they kind of are side characters.
I don't know. They just felt, everybody except this book to me felt so much more Violet and Xaden centric.
I don't disagree with
previous
that.
ones. That like, it's not that I dislike any of the side characters more or anything like that. It's just like, did they really do anything?
Yeah, I think.
Which, I mean, sure, I'm sure that they did stuff, but like, I don't know. Maybe I'm just putting too much weight on the end of the book where they're really kind of not there.
I mean,
To me,
Imogen caused the whole end of the book, so.
I mean, that's true, I guess, but like, I don't know, like that moment that they had together when what's his face dies, or what's her face, not him, it was a girl. At the very end.
Theophany, when the bad guy dies.
No. When Imogen.
When Imogen's
like that's
best friend dies.
Yes,
yeah.
like that's, to me, like I feel like that moment should have like this really big emotional weight.
I don't think we knew that character well enough for it to matter.
I don't think, but the thing is, I think you're supposed to.
But we do know Imogen.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. I think you're supposed to like really empathize with her, and it's like I felt bad for her. Like it was sad, but like I don't think it hit as hard as it was trying to hit.
I will say too that I think bringing in as many of the male characters as she did in this book really was a plot point on purpose to get you really confused for who turns at the end.
That's fair.
Because we don't find out.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Yeah.
So at the end of the book, another one of the writers turns Venom, and we hear that from Xaden, but we don't know who. And I guess we find out in the next book. I have some theories. I think that people are thinking automatically Bodhi
Yeah.
because he calls him brother,
He's
but
like the
he also
easiest
calls
pick.
Jack brother because they were sired by the same person.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking it's a brother in that terms.
It could, so yeah, if they do it that way, it could literally be anybody though, right?
Could literally be anybody, which could be interesting.
Like it could be like Mira.
I'm assuming it would be a boy though, because he said brother.
I guess that would make, I mean, true.
I think it
Brennan.
might be Arik.
I mean, maybe. I mean, that's the thing. It's like, I mean,
Who's
are
to say?
there are better guesses than what I just said because I'm an idiot. But I don't know. Couldn't you see like the first line of the next book being like, or should I say sister? And then it's like,
you know what?
like,
I wouldn't put that past her. I wouldn't put that plot device past her.
But I don't know. I think it's the perfect thing for when, because there's been a decent gap between books 3 and this next one, right?
I think not necessarily in her traditional publishing timeline. I think we are just caught up, and so it feels like there is.
I thought there was like an extra year compared to the previous ones, but if not, but like this is like the perfect ending to a book to like have discussion and like theorize and kind of prolong the life cycle. Maybe even give it a little bit of like rereadability where like you could go through and like if you're looking for it to be Bodhi, you like really specifically look at like instances of things that are happening with him to try to like make your case. So maybe that's just part of it too. I think it's a great like from an author like writing perspective, like it's a brilliant way to make people want to go straight to the next book and like or pick it up as soon as it comes out. So yeah.
I think the last thing I really want to touch on characters is we are really lacking a tangible villain in this. I know Theophany is our bad guy. She's this powerful mage and she is woven throughout, but like we kill her so quickly in the end. And like I think we're maybe setting up Dane's dad, who comes in as the general, and he's causing some problems for people, and he's just kind of a general like dirtbag. Like he's just kind of annoying. Like he's not even like evil or mean. He's just like, shut up. Yeah. That's kind of how I feel about him. So I feel like we are kind of lacking that villain character, and I'll be interested to see if we ever really get one.
Well, I feel like the Venom threat is like the villain
is the big bad.
So like, but yeah, like it's not been like super personified, and she tries to do it a little bit with Theophany, but you're right, like it doesn't hit like super hard. This is much more fetch quest fantasy. There we go, I got it out. Of them like going to the islands, trying to find stuff, come back, and then have the big battle with her. She tries to do some interesting stuff, but I don't know. It's like it's almost like they're just like bad to be bad a little bit. It's like I know they've kind of been corrupted by the magic and how the magic's supposed to work and stuff like that, and they have this desire of like more and more and more. But yeah, no, I can kind of see that. It's like there's a clear villain. It's just like it's like you're just told that there's villains. It's not like
it almost feels other because we're not directly interacting with it on a regular basis.
Yeah.
And even when we are interacting with Theophany, she's still so far away a lot of the time.
Yeah. And it's like we know they're bad because we hear about like the attacks and what they're doing to places. So it's like it's not that there's not a villain, but like I totally agree where it's like I don't know, like when you think of like a great villain like an Umbridge.
It's not tangible. It doesn't feel
it feels
real yet.
It feels outside still a little bit, which is it's like the threat's there. How is that going to like become more of a thing as we go on? Maybe I think that makes sense.
All right. Anything else on the characters before we jump into?
I mean the dragons are great again. They continue to just be
Terran powerhouse.
I mean they're fun. And Darna being sassy is fun. Like I don't know. To me they're enjoyable.
Her being able to break the bond was interesting.
That was pretty crazy. Yeah, I did not see that happening.
Yeah, me neither.
Really did not see her just like. I mean, it made sense like when like the decision was made, but like wow, I didn't expect it to. And then for them to be so nonchalant about it, because he was just kind of like, yeah, you can break the bond and come back and do it again later if you still think that's a good idea. I don't know. I thought that was all kind of interesting. That's that's what he was like, right?
Again, yeah, he was, and it just goes into hopefully we get more of the politics and the life and the motivations of the seventh breed to learn a little bit more about them in the next book.
Yeah.
All right. So the next thing we're going to chat about is the plot, and I don't really think that we need to go too much through the book. We've talked about a lot of major points. I think really what we need to discuss is maybe the reason everyone dislikes Oynx Storm so much, and it's the end of the book.
Which I think they're wrong. I think the ending is great.
I agree. For all my qualms, the ending was not one of them.
And I think we tried not to talk too much about this book so we could have it here, but we did talk a little bit about this of like, it's such a cliffhanger. I could see people being upset, but like the next book's coming. Like, you don't need it right now.
Right.
It's not like, you can wait. It'll be fine. There's other stuff to read, I promise. Like, it'll be okay that like this cliffhanger happened, and then you can, I mean, so if that's what people don't like about it, I get it. If they don't like that Xaden like caved, I mean, I could maybe see that argument. I don't know. I kind of went back and forth. At one point, I was pretty confident he wasn't going to, and then it was getting like more and more obvious that it was going to happen.
Yeah.
I think honestly, I kind of wish he hadn't. I think it would have been more interesting for him to like, because the whole point of the end of this book is like Violet finally has to listen to what other people are telling her about like, hey, you can't just go do anything and everything all the time. It's worked out for you a decent amount, but it's also not.
Right.
And if you don't listen this time, there's going to be real consequences. She succeeds for the most part in hers, and Xaden has the same thing on a probably an even worse scale because like the power's there. He's constantly wanting to, you know, absorb it or whatever, and he cracks. So you kind of have the the duality there of like her succeeding, him failing. But I almost think it would have been more entertaining or more I don't know if it would have been even better if he also did it, but it kind of changes the whole end of the book and like how do people get rescued and saved and like all that stuff. Like I don't know how you could have made it work. I'm sure I don't know. I'm not a writer. Somebody could have figured it out, but I don't know.
I think my biggest issue with the end of the book is that I just simply don't. It doesn't make sense to me. It feels like a plot hole, and that is because. Do we know that powers work on dragons? And if so, did Imogen wipe Taryn's mind? Because if not, how does Taryn not just feed all of the memories down the bond to Violet? Was he not there? Was he not with Violet in Orisha when they were getting married? Like,
well, it's the one thing of like, okay, yeah, maybe people don't like that happened off screen, which to me is like whatever. To me, it's such like a non-issue because we're gonna find out. So it's like, okay, you're like building up this like, we don't know what happened, but either, yeah, you're right. Taryn is going to wake up because right now he's sleeping or whatever, and tell her everything. Or, yeah, I mean,
somebody's going to tell her eventually. She's going to find out what happened.
Yeah, of course. I mean,
yeah.
Which so like I don't know. I guess if you don't like that, I understand why that would upset people. But to me, it's like this doesn't seem like the kind of series that's not ever going to reveal that. Like we said with the mom thing earlier, it's like. When these kind of plot threads are put out, it really seems like by the next book we're getting some kind of resolution for it, and I just can't see, like, I don't know, the ending of book 4 is going to be them like reuniting. Not necessarily that Xaden's cured or anything, but like,
right. I think he's gone for a large portion of book 4.
Yeah, and I'm curious on how that's going to work because like. Taryn and Sigale can't be away from each other. Does she leave him? Does he like survive that? Like there's some things we'll have to like learn and figure out about like how that works.
I wouldn't be shocked if Sigale leaves him. She's so mad at Xaden right now that she might just fly away from him for a little bit.
She could. I don't know. It's that'll be an interesting thing actually to see. That's not even something I had thought about until we were talking. So that'll be.
That's true.
Yeah. As far as the other plot stuff goes, I mean, you could say maybe it's a little picture perfect that like her dad left all of these things somewhere that he knew she'd be able to get to at some point.
All of these hidden clues.
All these like it's
dropped in for her.
I don't know. It's one of those things where it's like I am pretty good at like just believing what I'm being told in a story. It's like I'm reading a book about people with dragons and magic. It's like, is it a little like too perfect that she could figure out all these codes to all these things and like end up in exactly the right place and the person who had it is still alive. It's just like all these coincidences that like add up. Like, I don't know. That stuff doesn't normally bother me. I mean, sometimes it does. It's funny when I like pick and choose, but for whatever reason, I don't know if I just like am less critical of the series because of my overall like opinion on what its goal is, or if like, as I just read more and more, I'm just like, I don't care. Just like tell me the story. I'm gonna go along. I'm not normally trying to pick plot holes and things like that. If they're glaringly obvious to the point that I'm picking them up, it's got to probably drive other people crazy because I just like don't care. I just kind of let it happen.
I don't hate convenient plot devices,
Mhm.
and I think that they work really well in some genres more than others.
Yeah.
And I think that this is just the type of story that works well on a convenient plot device.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't bother me. And I also like that we're learning more about Violet's dad. And it also goes into a prediction that I have, which I'll hold until we get there.
Okay.
But I do have
Interesting.
thoughts about that.
Oh, okay. I'm excited to hear it.
But before we jump in to the predictions, the one thing everyone came to this video for, and that was for us to tell them about the smut. It's still really bad.
I don't know if I mean, I think honestly what happened is I just got better at like, oh, it's happening. Turn my brain off, come back in. Oh, it's still kind of happening. I don't know.
Have I mentioned that I read the graphic
Yeah,
audio version?
You had a
Because
much
when
different
I
experience.
tell you, if you have misophonia in any way, shape, or form, friends, do not listen to the graphic. It was tough.
Yeah.
It was, and there was a lot of it in this book. And I wouldn't necessarily say there was probably only one really extended scene, which I did choose to skip through. Because again, I don't mind smut. I read plenty of romance. This just not well done. It's just not well done. And again, it feels shoehorned in to a book that otherwise could be fade to black for all intents and purposes.
Yeah, and I think once again, not doing the graphic audio, it didn't feel any better or worse than what's been going on in the other books in the series. It was, I don't know, maybe a little bit. I was like, oh my gosh, here we go again, which has kind of just always been my feeling. I think I feel like I've been pretty consistent of like, I don't need any of this, which is funny. Like the only other series I've really read that kind of has this level of explicit stuff going on is the Empire of the Vampire stuff. And I think that, I think that is better, but even that I'm still like, okay, whatever. Like, I just don't care. I don't like,
it's not what you're reading it for.
It's not what I'm reading it for. And it's not even that it doesn't fit into the story necessarily. It's just like, I don't know. It's not like moving the plot along or anything, but I will say, like, if we compare the two, I do think those ones are significantly better done than I do in here. But if it's what people are enjoying, whatever, it's...
If it gets you into reading.
Well, not even that. Like, if you're reading this and you like that stuff and you like it in the first two, you're going to like what's going on here. Like, it's to me just more of the same. I don't think it's any... There's maybe a little bit more longing in this one than...
I think that's fair.
I mean, the first one had plenty of that too, but like this one kind of, because of what's going on with Xaden and his like, I need to be in control and like all that kind of stuff. I don't know. There's a little bit more of that, but the smut it's there.
It's there.
It's there.
All right. Anything you feel like you need to say before we get into predictions and final thoughts?
No. I think we've talked about pretty much everything I can think of right now. I'm sure something will come to me as soon as we're done, but...
And if there's something we haven't covered, you know where you can drop it in the comments.
Yep, absolutely.
So, my large prediction that I have, which might be crazy, is that there's a world in which Violet's dad is not dead.
Okay.
That he might still be alive out there somewhere. And that's really it. I don't really know much. Part of me worries, is he a Venin? Like, did he... Because he was a scribe, and so scribes don't have magic, so... But if anyone can channel from the ground, couldn't that be possible?
Do they tell us what happened to his dad at any point?
To her dad, I think
it's his heart?
Yeah.
It was a heart thing? Don't they watch him die then?
I don't remember.
I thought they like were by his bedside when he died. Maybe not. I don't know.
Maybe they thought.
I mean, I like the
were,
prediction.
And then
I think
maybe
that would be crazy.
Think about Jack Barlow.
I know, yeah. I mean, that would be crazy. It'd be awesome.
I'm just saying.
That would be a great twist. I don't know if I can co-sign on that one, but it would be cool.
If I'm missing something completely from the first two books, drop it. Let me know. Remind me. But I think it would be interesting.
No, it would be.
And I think it also just dovetails into the fact that I think that Violet is somehow going to become like a savior character. She's got some kind of something going on. She's chosen one for sure. She's got this weird hair color thing that got dropped 3 or 4 times in Oynx Storm.
Maybe that's the one thing we kind of forgot to talk about, is some of the weird
Violet stuff.
the god stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like the gods had kind of taken a back seat in the first two books. Like they
For
get
sure.
mentioned and stuff a little bit, but in this book, it kind of started to get a little bit more heavy-handed because more and more like the names have been thrown out, but like we kind of lingered on them a little bit more of like what they did and stuff. So I do think that like as far as Violet goes, like something is obviously happening. She's obviously blessed or chosen or something, like you're saying.
They kept saying touched in this book, not dedicated, but touched.
Yeah.
And they really did, like 3 or 4 times we talked about how the different hair color, and she was noticing it in other people.
Yeah.
Specifically some high priestesses.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, for sure. So something is
going to come with that. And then I think my last prediction is going to be that I think Auric is going to be our brother Venin. Okay. I'm going to throw it out there. I'm okay. He's the prince.
Oh, okay. Yes. Yeah.
He's the prince.
Interesting. Yeah.
There is also a world where it could be Dane. And I think that gets spicy and interesting. But I think I'm going to stick with Auric. That's my prediction.
It would be so hard for me to think either of them would do it. But like, I guess I would make it what's interesting. I could almost see it being his brother. Is his brother there? Auric's brother, the actual prince?
No, and he's not a writer. But I guess I could. But no, I don't think that.
I know he's not a writer. But yeah. I don't know. I like that though. Either of those would be more interesting than if it's just what's his face.
Bodhi or Garrick, yeah.
Yeah, I think those would be more interesting. I still think like, well, it just would make like, as funny as it would be. There's like it makes zero sense for it to be Brennan.
I think so too.
It makes zero like why would he do it? It makes no sense whatsoever. It makes no sense if it's Mira, even though I think that would be hilarious. Yeah, so I don't know. I think those are 2 pretty good predictions.
Yeah. All right. Any predictions on your end?
Man, I should have thought about this ahead of time. Predictions. I'm so bad at predictions. I thought Violet and Dane might get back together. Apparently, I'm such an idiot. Okay, my one prediction. Violet and Xaden reunite at the end of book 4, so they kind of are going to be super apart, and Violet's going to be all sad and mopey.
Yeah.
The entire book 4.
Do you think we see Xaden?
It would be such a change to get more than just our one chapter from Xaden, so I'm going to go with no. I could actually see the ending of book 4 being like Violet seeing Xaden, and then the actual last chapter, which is always from like Xaden's perspective, right, is him reacting, like his thoughts and feelings of seeing her. I guess we did get some other perspectives in this book, which was weird to get when it like switched to that did get me a little bit.
Mine were all switching.
No, I know. Yeah.
So it's hard. Yeah.
And I can't remember. Maybe it did that in other books. I know obviously the Xaden chapters, but other predictions. I'm gonna just say we learn a lot more about the 7th dragon breed. I don't know. Maybe we spend no time at Basgiath.
I think that's interesting. Yeah, why do they need school anymore?
I could really go, like, I think maybe that's, when I think about it more, is maybe something I liked about, like you said, you didn't like the quest island hopping stuff, but for me, it was like so nice to be away from the school setting. Finally, like it was like 2 books worth, right? I mean, not entirely, but like, I don't know. It was nice to see the world expanded and like, okay, there's more than just these kids at this school. Like, and so maybe my prediction is we don't go back there at all, or if we do, it's just kind of like, here's your mission, go.
Kind of thing. A home base.
And it's not so much, because that's one thing I wish I had brought this up, but like the whole point of Basgiath when we are introduced to it is it's this hardcore thing. And at some point in this book, they're like, we're not killing each other here anymore. Like that's all done and over with. So it's like, there's no stakes to go back there. It's not like somebody's going to get challenged and murdered. Like that was like such a constant like fear and stuff through the first books specifically, that it like, even into the second book, it clearly had overstayed its welcome. And so the fact that they're like, we're at war now, we've got all these other people here, we're done trying to just kill each other because we're trying to graduate and we're ruthless and hardcore. It's one of the things that I think was bad about the world building to begin with. It makes no sense to just be like offing each other because you don't like each other in like a military setting.
What do you mean? You didn't read Divergent? That's all the Dauntless do.
No, I did not read Divergent actually. But yeah, so I don't know. That was just a tangent about the world. I don't know if I really have any other predictions. I'm
I'll
so
be
bad
interested
at
to
them.
see if they're in Navarre or in Orisha. Because if we're not going back to Basgiath, is there even a point to be in Navarre? Do we make Orisha the home base? I feel like Orisha is a little bit more
They
in
could spend a bunch
on
of
the side
time
with the
trying to
Griffins.
find. They could still go back and try to spend a bunch of time of going and find. They could spend a bunch of time with the Seventh Dragon breed.
They could, or trying to find
Because
Andarna.
yeah, exactly. Because the wards are strong right now, right? Because they got fired. By
Yeah, both of them are. Yeah.
So it's like Violet could be like, I need Andarna. We need the Seventh Dragon breed. I need to go find them. She goes and tries to find them because she has a better idea of where they are. She finds them. We spend a bunch of time with them. She comes back. They start fighting. She unites everybody. She sees Xaden at the end of the book. Last chapter, Xaden sees her on the other side of the battlefield. Bam. I just told you the book.
I think it's not a bad idea. I mean, I do think that we probably will do some kind of trying to find the Seventh Dragon breed, only because we know they're so important to the Venom now.
Yeah, yeah.
Theophanie's whole goal was trying to get to Andarna for whatever reason that is.
Yeah.
So I think that they are important not only to our writers in Navarre and Orisha, but also to the Venom.
Yeah.
So, all right.
Okay, last thing. How long do you think this next book's going to be? I don't know the page count for Oynx Storm.
I'd have to do it in terms of audiobook hours because that's how we did it. But
Yeah.
I think we're a solid at
20?
least 20 hours.
20 feels like a good over-under number. I'm going to go under.
That's fair.
I don't know. That's one thing I thought of here at the end.
Rebecca Yarros has started plotting. So the fourth book will be here before you know it.
She's only just started plotting? Oh my gosh, we're not going to get this book till 2030.
No, we'll get it next fall.
We'll see. Anything else?
All in all, I think that I'm glad that I picked up this series. I mean, again, just easy popcorn. Yeah. This one wasn't my favorite, and I'm going to definitely switch back to my other method of consuming it the next go round. I might even try just go traditional physical because it'll take a while for the audio to come out. So we'll see.
They'll probably release it at the same day.
Potentially, but I'll have to wait a lot longer for the audio.
Yeah, at the library. Yeah, that's fair.
But again, is this a terrible book? No. Did I actually end up enjoying it for all intents and purposes at the end? Yes, and if this is what gets you into reading, like, I hope you enjoy. And if you choose not to finish the series just because you didn't like it ended on a cliffhanger, I think that's a little bonkers, but I'm happy to tell you how it ends.
Read what you want when you want. That's a great ending.
That is actually a pretty good ending.